This evening, you are in for a real treat. Judy Roberts is an old friend of ours. We've been pals for, God, a long time. And her husband, Greg Fishman, they're both just lovely, lovely people and incredible musicians. They hold we have a soft spot for them because, like Bea and I, they are two people in the arts making a living. And together they make quite incredible music together. And I'm going to come back at the top of the second set and talk to them just a little bit of a Q&A. It becomes part of the radio show, actually. But I'm going to get out of the way now and want you to please give a warm welcome to Judy Roberts and Greg Fishman. Thanks, folks.
So see this? Don't get too close to me. So let's see, last month we played the thing out in the suburbs, the Deer Park Jazz Festival, and it was early in the day. I had to get up early, and it was windy and hot, and it was really aggravating. When I stepped off the stage, I was about to faint. It was 100 degrees and windy, and this mass of people I hadn't seen for years came and like wanted to tell me their story when they first saw me and all that. By the end of that episode, I already was losing my voice. Then we went to our gig that night. By the end of that, it was gone. And Greg was enjoying it, by the way, the last couple of weeks. It's been peace and quiet, but so
Save it.
Save it. He keeps saying, save your voice. So I'm going to do my best to try to sing a lot of stuff, and if I conk out, then either you'll start singing or we'll just do instrumentals. What you think? Instrumentals, Chris, okay. Right. So you want to do Speak Low, right?
Speak low.
You tell about it, because you know all the stuff.
Well, I don't have a talking mic. This is a song from 1947 by Kurt Weill and Ogden Nash. It's from One Touch of Venus. And when Von Freeman used to call it, he'd say, "Speak low, skis." Von would put skis at the end of anything.
He gets to.
Yes, Von was very cool.
Oh, what was that? By the way, this is a brand new Steinway piano. I forgot to ask Steve how they got it, but you can tell me. Maybe it's a secret.
No, I forgot to mention, I am totally remiss.
Well,
At the top of the second set, I'm going to tell you the story.
okay, but he's claiming that I'm the first. Bam, am I the first person to play this piano?
Yes.
Uh-oh, now I'm putting pressure on me. Okay. So anyway, this is a great Steinway, and it's like, it's a Steinway. All right, baby.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2,
Steve, this is, I mean, I'm gonna sleep in this tonight. There's room. Leave the top. I have to leave the top up though.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we're good. This is an amazing piano, and I hope you got it legally, because whatever you did is worth it. Man, it's a killer. I couldn't hear you back there. What you were saying about Umbrellas of Cherbourg? What were you saying?
That we're going to show the film, The Umbrellas of Cherbourg,
Oh,
Sunday for free, and with our projection system.
cool.
And I talked about the score being Michel Legrand, and I wonder if maybe
You got.
What happens?
Are you reading my mind or listening in? He's got microphones in the dressing room. That's what's happening. And you heard us talking about this. Let's see. Okay, now I want you to be patient with me because of my voice issues. I may have to stop and change keys and stuff in the middle. Which is hi Joyce. Which is why it's good to play piano for yourself. So. I'm serious. Steve, you wouldn't last 1 minute with me this way. Trust me. We'll see. Now I have to figure out what key with my voice is going down. Maybe I should do it in G? If I normally do it in B flat, if I go down to whatever that is. We'll try it. Let's get ready for a change. So I'll try the original. That way I can go start. Think it's too high? Let someone start believing in you. So far, so good. Let him hold out his hand. Let him touch you and watch what happens. Want someone who can look in your eyes dans les yeux, see into your heart, corazon. Let him find you and watch what happens. Cold, no, I can't believe your heart is cold. Baby, just afraid to be broken again. Let someone with a deep love to give that deep love to you, and what magic you'll see. Let someone give his heart, someone who cares like me. Very romantic, oh yeah. Let someone stop believing in you. Let her hold out his or her hand. Let her touch you and watch what happens. Want someone who can look in your eyes, see into your heart. Let her find you and watch what happens. Cold, no, I can't believe your heart is cold. Just afraid to be broken again. Let someone with a deep love to give get that deep love to you, and what magic you'll see. Let someone give a heart, someone who cares like me. Let someone give a heart, someone who cares like me. Thank you. Oh, yeah, that's great. What a great song. Thank you. This is a seriously great piano. I mean, I work for Yamaha, but I got to say, this is a fabulous Steinway. It's fabulous. Oh, yeah. Anybody else in this room own a Steinway Grand or Yamaha Grand? Oh, you do. You're just embarrassed to admit it. Well, we're going to have a Yamaha in our house shortly, so, and we are going to do a request. Is Linda here? Is Linda? My Linda? The Linda who gave me this list? Linda Walters? I carry Linda's list around with me because it's so great. Okay. Autumn in New York's perfect because it's rainy and weird here and it's probably worse there, so. Now, in this situation, if I conk out singing, you're going to have to you want to sing or play? How many people would pay to see Greg sing? I would, yeah. Autumn in New York. Oh, man, sorry. What does it seem so inviting? Man. Autumn in New York can hold the thrill of first nighting. Glittering crowds and shimmering clouds and canyons of steel. They're making me feel I'm home. Autumn in New York. Can with the promise of new love. Autumn in New York is often mingled with pain. Dreamers with empty hands may sigh for exotic lands. It's autumn in New York. It's good to live it again. Autumn in New York can hold the promise of new love. Oh, baby. Autumn in New York is often mingled with pain. Dreamers with empty hands may sigh for exotic lands. This autumn in New York. It's good to live it. Live it. Live it. Again. Wow, Steve, however you got this is worth it. Whatever you had to do, whatever Bea had to do is worth it. Okay, just say it. I mean, it's killer. Okay, I want to tell a story because it broke my heart when I heard, of course, that Burt Reynolds passed away. Because I'm sure everybody here is a fan, or most of us were a fan. I of course, was a big fan. But in the 80s, he had a restaurant called the Jupiter Theater that was in Jupiter, Florida. And I can't remember how we got the gig, but Jim Cox, my longtime bass player, and Mark Wolfley, drummer from Cincinnati, we got a trio gig at the theater restaurant. And it was a great place, and Jupiter's beautiful, and Burt Reynolds owned it. But they had a whole set of rules there. Like, it was a very hip place, very, kind of reminded like of the London House, that kind of thing. But, of course, more modern. And so the rules were that, the stage was kind of like this, but back in the hallway back there was a closed room with curtains over it that Burt and Lonnie sat in, when they wanted to come down and have dinner and hear the music, and they were back there in that hall. And you were not to ever knock on a door or say a word to them. It was a forbidden territory. So one time, we were there for a couple of months, so on maybe about the third week, I thought I needed to get something, and I kind of walking by this hallway like this, and I hear, Judy? I heard my name, and it was Burt Reynolds calling I still just tell the story, it makes me like I want to fall over and faint. So Burt Reynolds had my name in his mouth. Bottom line. So that wasn't enough. He says, come on back here and hang out with us. So I went back there, and there's this gorgeous little girl, blonde girl, about this tall, maybe about this old, Lonnie Anderson. Why did he leave her? Anyway, so there's Lonnie Anderson in this room. And so we're just sitting there, just chatting. He was so down to earth, so nice, so cool, just a great guy. It was like stunning, but I'll never forget that moment of hearing my name in his mouth. I mean, that's what I think about when I think about Burt Reynolds. So the other thing is, I said to him, I was being real classy, real polite. I wasn't drooling or anything. I was just being cool. So I said, do you guys want to hear anything? He said, yeah, how about some Duke Ellington? I thought that's an ask for Willie Nelson, which would have been okay too. So in honor of Burt Reynolds and the way you said my name, to which I'm forever indebted to you, and for the fact that you like Duke Ellington, here is, you pick something that Burt would have liked. I can say first name.
All right. You want to do Billy Strayhorn, but Satin Dow?
Sure. Yeah. I'm Jewish. Wherever you are, Burt. Judy. Oh. Pianist dumps cold water on her head during performance. Okay. You got it. What are we doing? I forgot.
Oh, we're doing Satin Dow? Okay, instrumental.
See? Okay.
Intro?
Thank you, Zant and Val. Duke Ellington and Burt Reynolds. Unlikely couple, but yet it happened. Let's do something from your, you want to do something from your CD, or you want to wait?
Sure.
Okay. Well, you tell, well, I'll tell the juicy news that it's number 21, reached number 21 in airplay, and we got a great review in Downbeat yesterday. And it was, yeah. Not only was the review just totally loving and complimentary, but the guy's a great writer. What's his name? Edward Enright?
Yeah, that's him.
Edward Enright. I want to meet him. He's really cool. So all that going. So this is called So You Say. You want to tell about it? Since so.
So You Say, this is the title track from a CD I recorded in Los Angeles with a wonderful group of musicians, including a saxophonist named Doug Webb. Doug Webb is like he's the most working saxophone player in LA. He's on all of the movie soundtracks. If you ever watched LA Law, he's the guy who plays soprano sax, who plays the theme on there, and he's on, Spider-Man and all the first-run movies. He's also a killer great jazz player who played with Freddie Hubbard for 2 years, played with Horace Silver for 2 years, and just a wonderful guy. We bring out the best in each other's playing, and Doug wrote 4 tunes for the album, and I wrote 6 tunes, and this is the title track called So You Say.
And they're both cute, him and this other guy, yeah.
Ready? F sharp 7.
Okay.
First chord's F sharp 7 for all those who want to follow along.
They know more than I do, trust me.
Ready? 1, 2.
Mr. Hitmaker, that's great. Thank you. So you say. Other thing that I cannot relate to at all is that they recorded the whole thing just live, with reading it through it. But I don't read music. So they were reading for the first time, and it was real tricky, and they're all super pros, obviously. Yep. Not only did they play it great, they added all this wonderful stuff. So you got, yeah, that's really nice. Now you have to come home to Miss Illiterate here, but you're doing good.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay. Let's see, I'm going to do something depressing, okay? I'm Jewish, I get to. I am Jewish, I can cry if I want to, cry if I, oh, that's a good song, never mind. So, well, you'll see. September Song on the Steinway. September Song, SS on the OT Steinway. What does that word mean? I'm dyslexic, I can't figure it out. September Song on the Steinway. Joyce, write down your answer. Is Chuck Osgood here? Guess what? You're not moving anywhere. Guess what? You're not going anywhere. You can't leave us here. You can't leave us. Like, we'll talk about this later. We'll talk. Okay, let's do some more Duke Ellington dedicated to Mr. Bert. How about take the A train?
A train, okay.
Bert, wherever you are, enjoy. Thank you, Duke Ellington. Thanks. All right. Hey, how about something from sunny Brazil? You pick something from sunny Brazil. I'm assuming it's sunny.
Let's do, pick up the flute, we'll do Wave for Joyce.
Wave for Joyce. It's not the real title, it's our title. Wave for Joyce. The real title is Wave. Joyce, who are you with? I can't see. Oh, well, yeah. So it's not a Jewish holiday, obviously, tonight, right? I mean, I don't even know. I'm serious. When is the holiday?
Sunday night.
Oh, so, okay. I'm half Irish and half Jewish, and I'm kind of screwed up. Okay, so.
Okay. D. D.
Okay. Oh, great. Okay. Hang on. Okay.
Ready?
Greg Fishman on the flute, saxophone. He also plays. Say what? You are so cute. I didn't pay her to say that. That's it. We're going to take a brief intermission. I know Steve wants to say some stuff. And
Okay.
Steve, have you played this piano yet?
You were the first. I'm right behind you. I'm sneaking up on you.
I was the first.
Wow.
I'd like to be the last. I'm taking this with me.
I actually played it when it first arrived, and then it was tuned this afternoon. But then you touched it after it was tuned, so that was it. That was it. So I will tell you a very brief story. First of all, Judy Roberts, Greg Fishman. How beautiful is this? And we are going to take a brief break and then come back and do a little quick Q&A. But I am so remiss in not announcing this at the very beginning. This is through the great generosity of our friend Dan and Christy Robinson. And if you were here last year, you might recall we had a beautiful grand piano here last year. And I hope he doesn't mind if I tell the story. But Dan and Christy actually were willed that piano. It was a piano that was in their family and came into their possession. And so Dan had nowhere to put it. And so he asked me if he could put it here while they tried to sell it. I said, yeah, I think we could handle that. So they graciously let us use their piano for most of last year. It sold over the summer. So that piano was gone. And we were so thrilled to have the piano and sorry to see it go. And Dan turned around, and this is his piano. Yeah, how about that? So this is Dan Robinson's personal piano, and it is now here. And so we are so grateful. We are so grateful. So Dan and Christy, they're not here this evening, but they're often here, and I always try to give them a shout-out when they're here. And I knew they weren't here, and I just forgot to mention it. So thank you so much to them for that. And as long as I have your attention, this carpet is thanks to our good friends Carney Manassian at Manassian Rug. And he's a good dear friend of Judy's and Greg's, a fan of theirs. And he can't be here this evening, but he sends his love. So anyway.
The bottom line is we don't own anything.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's kind of true. But the bar is now open. We're going to see if we can make a little money. So please help us.
Oh, Steve, this is unbelievable. Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is the official. We are nothing if not professional.
Just don't get too near me. I'm Germy. Not German, Germy.
I was thinking about this during the first set. I was thinking that often when you come here, we have a similar conversation, because I know that, and I know that so many of you folks here have been fans of Judy's and Greg's for a long time, and we all know the story about how we wish they live here year-round, but they don't, and they live in Arizona for a chunk of the year, and then they come here for a few months, and then we are always eager to have them perform everywhere while they're here. I usually our conversation kind of comes around to something about that, and I thought, you mentioned that about going to Burt Reynolds' club. Yeah. And and I was thinking, both of you have had such storied careers. I would be curious to know, and I'm not asking you to pick up your favorite because that's going to be impossible, but just riff on some of your favorite gigs that you've played in some of the favorite places, and maybe some of the favorite people you've played with. I would love to hear just some of that.
We could write a book. Then we'd be in prison.
Because I know some of the people, and I know I don't know a lot of the people that you've played with, but I do know a lot of people that you've played with, Judy, or
Right.
I know names, but I would
Name
love to
them.
Well, George Shearing, Mary McPartland.
Yeah, gee, too bad you can't pick anybody good. Yeah, that was like, what? That's because I was the house trio at the London House, where I got to play
So
opposite
tell us a little bit about that.
the real people. No offense. Opposite, like George Shearing and Mary, and funny, you picked two British people.
You're right.
They were both fantastic, and the best part about them is, I think I've told this before, but getting to know them when they're not on stage, like they're very polite and wonderful and real articulate and beautiful, but when I got to know them more and more each time, come here, I got a show and tell. Pretend like you're me.
All right.
Okay. And I'm George Shearing. This is like,
Okay.
after years of doing this, say, Judy, is that you? Judy, is that you? Every time. And it was, but he gets to because he's George Shearing, and
Right.
he can do anything he wants to, and it's great with me, you know. So,
Oh my God.
so that's the kind. And then for Marion, like her language
Would you get
makes
away with that now? I don't think so.
no.
I don't
Well,
think so.
maybe he could, but no. He could with me, but no. And then Marion McParland, it's funny you said those two names. She was also so proper. When we got together behind closed doors, man, she talks worse than I do. It was pretty, I'm not going to quote her, but it's pretty funny. So yeah, there's just a couple little things like that.
Wow. And how about some of the places? Some of the now you talk about the London House, but what other places, either here in Chicago or New York or internationally?
You know, I've only played New York once.
Really?
Only once, yeah. But we've been all over the world. Like
Yeah.
one of our favorite places is Singapore. They had a great jazz thing there.
What took you to Singapore?
Greg, you tell it because you
Yeah.
were there. You went too.
Right. It was a great gig. That was in 1995
Right.
when I went over there. It was a 4-month gig, 6 nights a week.
Wow.
And wonderful. 4 hours a night, 6 nights a week.
Just the two of you?
In
It was
a gorgeous
quartet.
hotel.
It was a quartet with Stuart Miller on bass, Greg Sergo on drums.
Oh, wow.
And a wonderful gig. Had all day to practice and work on things, and I was working on my transcription books of Stan Getz. So during the day, I'm transcribing Stan Getz, studying his music. At night, we're playing the gig. And then after the gig, these wonderful friends and fans of ours, we go to these places called hawker centers, which are sort of these outdoor places where they have all kinds of different food. And we'd go hang out till 2 in the morning and then do it all again the next day. And so it was just a wonderful gig.
It was really
and
rough. It's great.
Great requests. And, food was wonderful. And
And jazz in Singapore, I wouldn't necessarily
Oh,
put those
yeah.
two together. So
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about that.
well, there's actually a strong jazz community. There's a pianist over there named Jeremy Montero, who is a wonderful player. And
Where's he from?
he's
He or
from
she?
there. Jeremy's from Singapore, but he's recorded and played with everybody. I mean,
Huh.
he played with, Simon and Garfunkel, Michael Brecker, Pat
Wow.
Metheny. I mean, he's produced shows with them. He's played
Wow.
with them. And I did an album with him in 2004. And Jeremy's he's just an incredible player and an incredible businessman, actually. And so I was over there several times playing with him. And Judy was there, I think, 3-4 times. And actually, I mean, you asked about why jazz is big anywhere outside of America,
Well,
basically.
that's true,
You go anywhere in Europe, jazz is popular.
Yeah.
Japan, I've played Japan many times. Watashi wa Nihongo ga skoushi ukerimasu. I speak a little bit of Japanese, which I learned in Tokyo.
Wow.
And they love jazz. It's very cultural. Places that are really into the arts and culture tend to like jazz, But, here, it's about 2% of the market.
Yeah. Right,
So
right.
so here it's kind of taken for granted over here because I guess it's all about money and who wants 2% market share of anything, right?
Right, right. Sure.
But the thing is, it's such a great art form, and so you go outside of America and there's great players coming from all over the world now
Well,
who
that
are
was
playing
gonna be
jazz.
my next question. Are there most of the players coming from the U.S. kind of as ambassadors of jazz to these other countries, or are there homegrown jazz players in these countries that are significant players?
Well, they used to bring everyone in. Like I used to go to Singapore, Japan, but more and more over the past decades, they're homegrown.
Huh.
What they do, they come here. A young player will come here. Maybe they'll go to Berkeley or North Texas State.
Mm-hmm.
They'll go to a top school, or they'll come to Chicago and hang out here for 2-3 years. Some have even studied with me. I teach on Skype, and I have students all over the world: Japan, Switzerland, United Kingdom, France. And they'll study. Sometimes they'll fly over and study, and then that's how they get the information, and then they go back home where they live.
Wow.
So it's interesting, but the music itself is such a wonderful art form that it's very satisfying, and it's a very uniting thing. I've played in places in Japan, and I've played in Mexico, where people don't even speak English, and we have a great night of music together, and we communicate on such a deep level musically, and we've never met. Yet we call some standards. Someone will start playing a Duke Ellington or George Gershwin tune, and everyone joins in, and we have a great time. So
And it's a conversation.
it is.
It's a
It's
way
a
of having a
conversation,
conversation
right?
without
And
speaking,
and the audience can relate to it, and whether you're an experienced musician or if you're just a casual listener. To me, the great thing about it is it communicates. Like, take my favorite player, Stan Getz. He communicates on so many levels that for someone who's just maybe not a big jazz fan, but they like what he does. He has got a pretty sound, and it's relatable, it's accessible music. Then you go to someone who's a very advanced player, and they get more into, oh my God, he's hitting the sharp 9 followed by the 13th. They get on a technical level, they can appreciate what he's doing. So they work on a broad spectrum, those top players. And so that's the thing, is that jazz, it's accessible whatever level the listener is, and you can listen for I've been listening for decades to the same recording, and what I always tell people is they renew themselves, sort of. They're sitting there, they're not changing, but I'm changing, and the way that my perception of the way I hear it has changed. And so I know I've reached a new level of listening when I put on that same Gets with Oscar Peterson record. It's like, hey, he's doing something there I didn't notice before. And of course, the record hasn't changed, I've changed, and I'm hearing it at a different level. And so that's the great thing about it.
Yeah, for sure. It's it is truly a lifelong experience to be
for sure
to put oneself in the world of music and have stuff become new again. I absolutely agree with that.
Right. I tell that to my students, because I teach a lot of adults who are coming to this, and they're like, okay, I want to be, am I done with the scales, or am I done with the chords? I'm like, you're never done. You're never done.
Not done with that.
No, it's like not like I say, okay, you've done your chords, you're finished. It's like I'm 51. I'm playing the same chords and scales I played when I was 12. Right. Yes, I play them better now, but I hear them differently. I know how to use them. It's just the elements of the music. It's just the fundamentals. But what I also tell them is if you're bored while you're playing these, while you're practicing, you're doing something wrong. You're not doing it right. You're just doing it as a routine, like brushing your teeth or something, or I think, this is just something you got to get through so you can get on to the fun stuff. You're not doing it right. Just the beauty of a chord itself, you play it right with a great sound and with good rhythm, that right there, it's very, it's a lot of fun.
Well, it all kind of comes down to soulfulness too. I mean,
that's right.
It's sort of a heart talking to a heart kind of. There was I've told a story from here before, and forgive me if you've heard it, and I don't want to go into deep detail, but there was a great article in the New York Times several months ago about connections with the brain and what parts of the brain light up when we hear music. And there's a specific spot. There's a lot of detail that I could tell you, but there's a specific spot in the brain that they found that now, as the techniques have gotten better at analyzing this stuff, there's a very specific spot that lights up for music and only for music. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't even matter if we like the music. As soon as our brain hears music, this specific spot of the brain is triggered. And the theory now is that music may predate speech as a way of just gathering people, of the tribe kind of coming together.
Right.
So, I mean, I love that idea. I mean, I love just whether or not it's true, the fact that there is something so primal about us and the way we react to music, which is what I was talking about, going to work, play with people that you don't even speak the same language, but you're having a great communication. It feels that way.
Yeah, it totally defies any language. I mean, it's just like a given thing. You don't have to even speak to anybody, just you hook up.
Right.
The first minute that Greg and I played together, that was it. I mean, we just played together great. It was just
organic. Just like we do now. Is we never rehearsed anything. None of this has worked out, and it's been like that since day one. And that's sort of a thing that's among players. It's there or it's not.
Yes,
like right from the start. You could have a bunch of great players. Not everyone has this kind of musical chemistry. Mm-hmm. It's sort of like you put together an all-star team or something, and it might be individually they're great, but they may not gel together. Right. And it's just a mysterious thing. I mean, I've played where I've done things overseas, and they put together an all-star tour. This star on piano and this star on bass, and they get me on sax and another guy. And on paper, you think, my God, this is going to be the event of a lifetime. But we all play fine, but it doesn't really ever get on that intimate level where it really gels, where it's effortless. So it's interesting, and you can't really. It's just like with people. You meet some people, and you've been talking to them for 5 minutes. You feel like you've known them for 10 years.
Right.
There's other people you've known for 10 years, and you feel like
you don't
even know them at all. Right. So it's
the
the same thing. It's just like that musically. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Or you don't want to know them at all.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I don't want to spend too much time up here because I'd like to hear some more of your mind-reading music. Isn't it like mind-reading?
It
is.
Two
of them? The fact that I think that the two of you are as good listeners as you are players, which makes you better players. I mean, you listen to each other so intently.
But that's the whole thing. That's what I tell students also. I said, it's a listening thing. It's like the thing holding you back is not usually your finger technique or anything like that. It's your ability to hear and to concentrate on what's happening and keep track of the music. Right. To get out of your own way where you're not listening to yourself, but you're listening to the music or the other people while you're playing.
Yeah.
And that's what's really challenging. So I'm like, we've got to train your ear. They think they just need to keep practicing the saxophone and play the notes faster and faster. I was like, that's the least of your problems. That's something that anyone can do given enough time. It's just a technical thing. This conceptual stuff is much harder, where you're hearing something and keeping track. Like I had a guy I taught today at the house, and he's playing a C, and I'm like, okay, what if that C were the third? Can you hear what the root would sound like if the C were the third, or if the C were the fifth, or the seventh? Because this guy, he'd practiced his chords all week, and he said he's got them ready. I was like, okay, you're playing the C. Let me hear it, you know. And he couldn't hear it like that, and that was the lesson, having him play the C, where I would change the chord around the C, and he's like, wow, I didn't know it was that deep of a thing. I'm like, I thought I just played the notes as, you know, I'm just following the instructions, you know.
I just throw my hands down. I mean, that's what I do. I don't think about it. I mean,
you can't do that on sax. you got to know. You got to know what it's going to sound
much lighter.
Well, I'm going to get out of the way and let you throw your hands down then. So thank you guys so much, and thank you all.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Isn't he cool? So cool. He's cool and he's cute. And he's cute. Oh, is that,
Oh, you want this?
yeah. You know, I think we had some requests, and I can't remember what they are.
You should do that Casablanca thing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Here's a song that Greg plays the vibes as well. They're impossible to, you can't just put them in a case like the saxophone. So they're at our house, but so he writes these interesting songs on the vibes that he wouldn't come up with on the saxophone. Am I saying it right?
That's true.
Because of the physical nature of it. So this sounded, when I first heard it, I thought he was playing something from like da 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 da. So I named it the Casablanca Blues. 'Cause it sounds like it's from Casablanca, not the movie, but just that tone, you know, let's see, you know, like that sound. Okay, Mr. Professor, what do you call that sound?
That's the harmonic minor scale.
Oh, shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Luke, I don't know now. So who starts?
You want me to start?
Yeah. That is very cool. How's that title feel to you, the Casablanca Blues? It reminds me of like the music they're playing behind Humphrey Bogart and all this stuff. What do you call that? Yeah. Nice, that's great. Let's hear it for Greg Fishman, author. Nice guy. Oui, mais c'est d'accord avec moi parce que quelque chose en français maintenant. Wait a second. Maintenant, quelque chose en français du cinéma. Oh, that's from Casablanca. Isn't it?
Which one?
What's that? Never mind. I changed my mind. Is it kind of raining out there? Leaves are falling? Okay. Yeah. Take advantage of this. Cette chanson qui ne ressemble, toi qui m'aimais, moi qui t'aimais. Nous vivions tous les deux ensemble, toi qui m'aimais, moi qui t'aimais. Mais la vie sépare ceux qui s'aiment, tous deux amours sans faire de bruit. Hey, when you're singing in French, you're spitting. Nothing you can do about it. Et la mer efface sur le sable les pas des amants désunis. The falling leaves drift by my window, by ma fenêtre. The falling leaves, l'effet mortel of red and cold, de rouge et d'or. Je vois les lèvres, I see your lips. The summer kisses, les ombres d'été. The sunburned hands, les matins bronzés. I used to hold. Since you went away, the days grow long, and soon I hear a winter song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall, Hallelujah, my. Yeah. Just like we wrote it. English or French? Both. Cette chanson, ce song, qui nous ressemble, that we resemble. Toi qui m'aimais, you who love me. Moi qui t'aimais, I who love you. Nous vivions tout. We've been through everything. Les deux ensemble, the two of us, together. Toi qui m'aimais, you will love me. Moi qui t'aimais, I will love you. Mais la vie c'est pas ceux qui s'aiment. Dieu deux amants sans faire de bruit. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves start to fall. When autumn leaves start to fall. Les pas des amants, c'est des garçons qui nous ressemblent. Toi qui m'aimais, moi qui t'aimais. Thank you. Stuff sounds better in French. It just does. So I learned French, thanks. So I had a great, I went to Amundsen High School, which beats the hell out of Mather and Sen. We had a good era. It was like the smart Jewish kids, but no attitude yet. And then the Greek athletes, super nice. And then all the rest, I think the Swedish kids, it was just a real peaceful, nice melt. Anyway, I had a great French teacher, and you know, it was so unplanned back then. You didn't have all these, I mean, I couldn't get through school now. I have a flip phone. I can't even work that, so. But, I mean, we just talk in French, and so I was talking to Hallie, do you have Mr. Hankwitz? Okay. Oh, you were at Sullivan, right? Oh, no wonder she screwed up. My baby sister's not her fault. She went to Sullivan. Okay. I went to Sullivan. How many people went to Sullivan and are not screwed up? How many people went to Sullivan? Okay. Anybody here going to Amundsen? What? Oh, it was great. It was great. Had a great band teacher, Ben Stoller and Mr. Ken Iverson. They were totally hip. So I just got lucky era. Okay, Greg, pick a song you like to do. How about, do you want to? Sure. All right, Herbie Mann, right? Yeah. And did he write it?
No.
Who wrote it?
This was written by a bassist named Ben Tucker in the 1950s, but it was a hit for flutist Herbie Mann in the 60s. It's called Coming Home Baby.
Cool. Yeah. All right. D minor?
D minor.
Hang on a second. Okay. right, Greg. Nice. Let me ask you, is that the key that was written in? Is that
No, it's not.
what?
We're up a step from where it was written.
What do you mean?
That song was written in C minor. We're playing it in D minor, though.
It was written in what?
C minor.
Oh.
It was written down a step, but I like the sound of it on the flute.
Yeah, on the
up.
piano.
Yeah,
The piano can-
that's the perfect key for it to me.
And in D minor, so Steve, D minor, you just shut your eyes and pound. Watch. What? Or. In fact, I show people what I call, here's my teaching method, the opposite is. The D trick, all of you can do this, here's how you do it. First of all, you have to know where G is. So you hit a low D, okay? And then you put the pedal down, so, okay. D, sustain pedal. That's step 1 to step 2. And step 3 is play any white note. So here you go. Now, it works, watch. D, sustain pedal. I don't know why it works, but why does it work? I mean, it works, but tell why.
That was something I saw on a show I watched when I was a kid. It was a rerun. It was from the 50s, but it was I've Got a Secret, right? And they had Liberace was the surprise guest. And Liberace's secret was that Bill Cullum was going to play piano with Liberace on a duet. Of course, Bill Cullum doesn't play piano. So they pull the curtain, there's 2 pianos there, and he gives Bill Cullum a grapefruit. And he says, here, I want you to roll this on the white keys while I play. And it's the same thing you're talking about. It's like, it's D minor. It's Dorian, called Dorian. And they did this whole duet. He said, go ahead, just roll it. And he starts rolling it, and Liberace's doing all these fills and stuff. He's got the candelabra and all that stuff, you know.
Where's my candelabra?
So, yeah, where's your
Steve?
candelabra? That's right.
So, but that's true. And I tell those people, if you have a piano at your house, just go hit the low D. It's the same pedal in any white note.
Right. It's called Dorian.
Dorian mode.
Dorian mode.
It's me thinking of Dorian Gray, though. Gives me the creeps. Okay. Anyway. Let's see.
Here's your candelabra.
Here's your candelabra. There you go.
Thanks, Bea. See how? No wonder she's a successful businesswoman. Look at her.
All right.
So let's hear it for Bea. She does everything great, and she's nice. She's in shape. I hate you. I hate her. She's blonde and looks good. Oh, by the way, Linda's gave me the best line. Linda Walters. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
Not about Bea, but some reminded me. Steve or Bea, what would you like to hear? If you ask a musician what they want to hear, I wouldn't know either. But any composer, author, not Beethoven. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can't sing it. I'll play it on the new piano. I hope. Let me see. Look out. I'll take my watch off. I'm getting serious. That's my favorite note. Thank you. I've earned my candelabra. Thank you. Greg, how about the hit song from your last album?
Oh, the previous one. Okay. Yeah, New Journey.
Champagne Jane?
Champagne Jane, okay.
And this is written for Lito.
This is a song written for a great fan and friend of ours, Jane Foster, who lives out in Burr Ridge. And we were over at their house, Jane and Chuck Foster. We'd played a concert, and we went over for dinner. And we're at the dinner table, and someone says, "Would you like some more Champagne Jane?" And I said, "Hey, that's a great name for a song, Champagne Jane." So I went home, wrote a 16-bar blues called Champagne Jane, and this is on not the current CD, which just came out. This is on another one, the one from a couple years ago, called New Journey, and this is Champagne Jane.
I thought of something else. Your new CD is
The new CD is called So You Say.
it's the only one that we've done that Chuck Osgood's not done the cover for. Of all the
That's
albums
true.
we have done,
That's
like
true. Chuck Osgood did the cover for the other
everything,
one.
for everything.
For New Journey. That's right.
He did the cover for everything.
That's true.
Okay.
All right, so this is Champagne Jane.
What's that first chord? I'm not kidding. The first chord is what?
C7.
Okay.
One, two,
author of speech. Is there another piano player in the house that could like help me out here? I'm not feeling well and I could use some help.
Oh, for crying out loud.
There you go. Here he is.
So cute. How many people used to go to the Whiskey Lounge? That's where this whole thing started. Oh, sorry, wait, let me get my purse off there.
I'll sit in your purse.
Come over to my house and clean up, will you? Thank you.
What the heck's going on back here?
Oh, you're gonna do it like that. Cool.
That's what I thought. Is that all right?
See, I wouldn't have thought of that. See, that he knew that. How many people would have thought to put it like this instead of wedging in like this?
Clever.
You're smart. You are.
Okay. What are we doing?
Oh, what do you want to do?
Last time we just did sort of a blues rock.
Sure.
Or something.
Sure.
Sure.
Do you want? Is it? Okay. What key?
Yeah.
Sure. Any line or?
I don't care.
Pick a rhythm. Pick a tempo. Just listen up. Okay. I got the numbers.
We sound so far.
How adorable is he? I mean, really? I say give me a request, but there's too many people here, and we have to play favorites, so what should we do? Wait a minute, let me ask our friends who are moving away from you guys. Your favorite couple from the South
yeah,
Side.
yeah. Mary Beth.
No, I don't want to say the name, but yeah. Oh, please do. Please do. Okay, sure.
Right.
Did you say a particular song?
No, just Joe Beam.
Okay, sure. Nice. Ooh, who wrote Goodbye?
Joe Beam.
Oh. I'm going to fix you for moving. This is one of my favorite. I just happened to think of this. One of my favorite songs by Judy Beam. We'll do two. This one and then something that's more recognizable. Okay. This one's depressing, so get your drink ready. Do they serve drinks in this place? Oh, okay. Just asking. I didn't know. I mean, I never even thought of that because I don't drink. So I got. What key can I sing? Okay, I'll just try in G. Maybe B flat. It's no good to pretend we have come to the end. All that's left is to say goodbye. Wow. If I hold you with lies, it will show in my eyes. All that's left is to say goodbye. And so when you go, I won't stop you, but I will remember. How sweet, how beautiful it was. And all this beauty of love that once was ours and now leaves me sad. I don't want to deny, don't want to betray, don't want to forget. Because my love and my life, you have been like a day full of sun. Yeah, Greg. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. This is just a little samba built upon a single note. Other notes are bound to follow, but the rule is still one note. The one right is a consequence. The one bitch isn't through. As I'm bound to be the unavoidable consequence if you. There are so many people that could talk, I'm going to say nothing. I'm really nothing. I will talk to you, and at the end of that, I'm to nothing, Joyce. I'm really nothing. So I come back to my first note, as I must come back to you. I will pour into this one note of the love I have for you. Anyone who wants a whole show, the re mi fa sol la ti do, is going to find himself with no note at all. Better play the note you know. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Greg, nice. Yes, 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 baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tall and tan and young and lovely. The girl from, where are we? Evanston? Evanston goes walking and when she passes, each one she passes goes, oi. When she walks, it's like a samba that swings so cool and sways so gently that when she passes, each one she passes goes, ah. Oh, a barkeep watches so sadly. How can he tell her he loves her? Yeah, 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 he would give his heart gladly. But each day when she walks to the sea, she looks straight ahead, not at he or she. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the girl from Ipanema goes walking. When she passes, he smiles, but she doesn't see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Greg. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here's a bossa nova you've never heard before. Baseball season's underway. You better get ready for a brand new day. So stamp your feet and clap your hands. Chicago Cubs are the greatest fans. That's kind of cute. We're singing now, go Cubs, go. Go Cubs, go. Hey Chicago, what do you say? The Cubs are gonna win today. Hey, it's worked out great. The Cubs samba. Now it's gonna be classical. Cause we're going to Chicago, sorry but we can't take you. I said we're going to Chicago, sorry but we can't take you. There's nothing in Chicago that a non-Cubs fan like you can do. I'm gonna pack my suitcase and move on down the line. I'm gonna pack my suitcase and move on down the line. There ain't nobody with me and there ain't nobody crying. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, neighbors, anybody all live in Glenview beside us? Okay. How many people live in Evanston? Skokie. But why is such timid applause for Skokie? What the hell? As always, Steve, it's been a complete pleasure. You make everything just great. He's a magician. We appreciate it so much. Right now, please, let's hear for Greg Fishman on everything. Just everything. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're my everything. From Chicago, Amiston High School, Foster and Damon. I'm Judy Roberts, and we thank you so very much. We'll see you all soon. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Oh, yeah.
Judy Roberts. That's Judy Roberts. That's Greg Fishman. That's Sam Fishkin up there making everything sound great. Howard Oyang doing the video. Our friend Jasmine behind the bar. My wife Bea, Liz. But these wonderful artists here giving us a wonderful evening, a wonderful art. And all of you, thank you for coming and spending your evening with us.